welcome back to my channel. Hello, my name's Anna and I like to make writing content. Today I'm going to be answering some of your guys' questions that you guys left on my community page. If you guys didn't know, I post a lot on there, so if you ever need updates on videos like this, definitely check that out. However, let's go ahead and get on to the questions you asked me, and yeah, let's get into the answers. Let's go. Okay, so we got 81 comments. That is a lot of comments. I don't know if I'll get through all of them today. I'm probably just gonna randomly pick some, so I'm just gonna like scroll and see where I end up. Okay, this one is from Macy Jade. What is your favorite song right now? And if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? I've been listening to Bad Idea by Girl in Red so much lately. But if not, if you guys want to listen to like one of my favorite songs ever, it's actually Future Me Hates Me by the Beths. And I think it's so relatable to also writers like me, just like people like me. So I really love the Beths. Such great Australian music. And her other question is, if I could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? If you guys didn't know, I'm obsessed with the Netherlands. I really want to live there eventually. I'm kind of like a little bit part Dutch, but I just hope to live there and travel all over Europe, because I just think Europe is the best place for like anyone creative, for anyone who like wants to romanticize their life, and that's like me. Okay, let's go ahead and scroll a little bit more. Do I have any siblings? Okay, so these are kind of like really interesting, cool questions. Not really related to writing, which I'd love to. Do I have any siblings? Yes, I actually have 4 siblings. I have 2 older sisters, 1 older brother, and 1 younger brother. Okay, someone asks, what is a writing technique you'd like to get better at? Such a good question. I would honestly think like overall my writing style. I think I will eventually develop my writing style. I'm kind of happy the way it is right now. It's kind of like okay, but I really want to go to that step, you know, further, and I really do want to be more poetic in my writing, a sort of writing style that's very unique but also very easy to read. For example, if you guys haven't read any of Cassandra Clare's works, she has a really strong writing style that's very recognizable but also extremely easy to read. I'd really like to be somewhere between Cassandra Clare's sort of writing style and also Erin Morgenstern's amazing, beautiful writing style. I want to be like somewhere in the middle. So I guess writing style is what I really do want to try and improve. They also ask, what is your ultimate dream in terms of writing? I think honestly, probably just getting people to read my work. I recently just kind of gave out Project Ghost to a few of my friends and family, and like a couple of them have gotten back to me, and it just means so much. For example, Rachel writes, I did a collab with her, and she was able to kind of give me like feedback on like my first 2 chapters. And I literally like freaked out so much to the fact that like she's a beautiful, amazing writer, and her complimenting on anything to do with my book was just like, oh my gosh. So I literally like stood up and like walked around my house like screaming, because I was just like, no way is someone liking my writing. So I think like honestly getting my stuff out there, I guess eventually publishing my book would be so good, because I see comments where you guys like ask like, Anna, like where can I read your stuff? And I'm just like, you want to read my stuff? And I feel like I really love this channel because it's kind of like an outlet where I can talk about my projects and be very free with what I kind of give you in terms of like my ideas and my scenes and my plot. Like I give you guys basically my whole book, and I guess a lot of author tubers are very scared about that, of like sharing their book, but I really like to, because I just like, I love sharing my ideas, my characters with you guys. So like yeah, I think I definitely want to have that confidence to share and eventually get to a point where I can give you guys my works and hopefully get you inspired to write even more. These are some really good questions. They also ask, how has writing changed you? I think as a person, writing has become a thing that's just like, I think it's made me more I don't know, it's maybe more individual in a way, but also hopefully more open to people, and also kind of has given me the confidence in my own ideas and own identity as a creative to kind of just, yeah, share it with people and be more confident with other aspects of my life. So I think like having something that I can really focus on and having a hobby that I'm really passionate about, that I've kind of discovered for myself and no one has pressured me onto it, something that's so sacred to me. And that's why AuthorTube and like my YouTube channel and writing, these 2 things are what I want to do with my life. So it just makes me so happy, and I think it just gives me hope. I don't know, I've just like become a more hopeful person, And yeah, I don't know what else to say. The last question is, what would you like to have achieved in the next 5 years in terms of your writing? I think the next 5 years I would like to publish a book and hopefully have like at least 4 to 5 books which have very good strong manuscripts, like kind of like a book a year sort of thing. Like I want to get to a point where my writing is at a point where I can plot more easily, I can gain more ideas easily, I can just like go through my whole writing process more efficiently, to the point where I can, you know, publish and hopefully get to a point where I can query and end up maybe publishing my book. So eventually, hopefully in the next few years, I want to publish, even if that's self-publishing, my book. Okay, this is also a really good question. It is, do you ever feel discouraged when writing, and how do you keep going if you know your writing isn't any good? Girl, I've been there, don't worry. I think being discouraged by your own writing, it's something that, I don't know, it's hard to kind of describe. I think with imposter syndrome and just kind of double thinking if your ideas are good enough is just faith in your work, and also like reflecting upon why you started these projects, why you started to write, and why you really love it in the end. And I think when you're kind of feeling unmotivated to write, or you just like, my ideas aren't good, my writing sucks, it shows that you actually are growing. Because if your writing sucks now, you're gonna improve. You know what I mean? Like I think with every single hobby, every single career, you're gonna suck at something when you start. But I think falling in love with that process of improving and just kind of like starting new projects. And I think I heard a quote from Sanderson about like, write your current books now for the sake of writing, not to finish books. Does that make sense? So you like finish your books and write them, not because you know they're going to become the best book, but because you know that they're going to eventually write the best books. Yeah, such a good tip. Okay, so someone wants to actually publish their novel someday, but they don't want their parents to read it, and like, I don't know, they're kind of shy about their project, which is totally fine. My parents don't really care about my writing or my books or whatever, so I don't really get a problem with this, because I know that if I do publish a book, they literally won't care. But if you do have parents that are actually interested in your work, that's crazy. Like I'm really jealous. But definitely just like be open, and if it is something that you're really shy about, I think your confidence in your own work and your own projects will just come from you sharing your book. Because I realize like that's the whole point. You want people to kind of think about your book. So if you're scared about that, I think it's just a growth thing, and you will eventually get to a point where you don't get shy with your ideas, your books anymore. And if you find people that you really love, like your writing friends or your best friend or like your sister, or just like someone who like just will listen to you, try to find those people, or just like join a Discord server. I have a Discord server if you guys ever want to join it. I'll have it linked down below again. But again, this channel, this whole thing is for you guys to share with your ideas and to just kind of gain confidence through this. So if you're shy, don't worry. And if you really don't want your parents to read it, just like tell them not to, I guess. But I think if they're unlike my parents and they're really supportive of your work, they would want to read it because they love you, right? But that's all I really have to say. Okay, so this lovely person has a few questions. Some are kind of similar to what I kind of said. Like, do my parents know about my channel? I mean, I guess they do. Again, they don't really care. Only if they like watch a video, they're like, I know you shouldn't be why are you spending your whole day editing? You shouldn't be doing that. Literally, my mom told me once to like stop writing so much. I talk a lot about these problems on my podcast. If you guys want to definitely check that out. My goodness, the amount of details I give you guys on my podcast, it's crazy. But my parents do know, but they don't really have an opinion over it, and I really respect that because I like to do my own thing. Okay, so they kind of go on. So like, has there ever been a time where you felt lonely? Yeah, so I guess support in writing and becoming a writer, it is difficult. Again, I talk a lot about this on my podcast, but I think like in terms of my career, I'm studying law at the moment at university, and I kind of don't mind it. It's totally fine. But if I did have my own choice, I would study, you know, creative writing, because I think it would just really help me. But yeah, my parents, I guess they just want me to have a good career, so they're just like, do law so you can be financially independent when we kick you out, basically, which is totally fine. Like, I don't really care. And yeah, I feel like I'm just really scared that they're gonna find this video and be like Anna, you're exposing us. But the thing is I really want to share this stuff because I feel like a lot of people do relate to it, and it's also just the overall stigma around writing and creativity that people think it's not a real career. And even with, you know, people being YouTubers for like their literal life and, you know, earning so much more money than a corporate job, like the generation before us, our parents' generation, are so oblivious, so stubborn, and extremely traditional and conservative. It frustrates me a lot. So being like a first-hand experiencer of that sort of stuff really does frustrate me sometimes. So of course I do feel lonely, and of course that's why I created this channel, to kind of connect with writers and hopefully, you know, talk about this stuff that a lot of people can't really talk about in terms with like support and just like, yeah, the overall stigma around writing and becoming an author. It is definitely possible, and I think just kind of like reversing those limiting beliefs that my parents and like the world has kind of forced upon, like you can't be a writer. It's just a process and I'm still going through it. So of course, yeah, I do feel lonely sometimes, but I have you guys, which makes me so happy. Okay, so another question is, if you had to, which of your books would be the most interesting in publishing? I honestly think Project Ghost is one of the books I'm really proud of, and something that I really think a lot of people will relate to. It's also in such a good place, so I really would love to publish that one out of all my projects. What advice would you give someone who wants to write successful novels as a teenager? I think that's a really good question to end on. Advice. I would honestly say just like try to continue writing. Actually, I was reading my devotions today, and it was about like just how God has created creativity and art for people to enjoy it. Does that make sense? And I was also reading a book of the Bible called Ecclesiastes. I wish I had it here, but I left it downstairs. But basically it's a very philosophical sort of book, which I love, like, as a writer. So it kind of talks about how like the one thing that we can be sure of is that God gave us art to enjoy, and like whatever works we love to do with our hands, it's simply just to enjoy it and kind of enjoy the fruit of our labor. And that means literally just enjoying writing. So I think when you start out writing, it is a very like rocky sort of thing, and you kind of like get shocked at how hard it is to continue writing and become a writer. But I think if you just keep writing, keep at it as a beginner and as like someone who's just started writing, I think just getting to a place where when you sit down and start writing, you feel good and you love it. And honestly, sometimes of course you have days where you just hate writing, which is totally fine. It's totally fine to hate what you love, but I'm still also getting to a place where I can just write more effortlessly and just kind of remember how much I love writing, and just like literally love every single second of me typing on my computer. Like that's where you should try to get to. And if you want to become a successful author, again, I think that's the way to do it, just to enjoy what books you're writing, what characters you're creating, what scenes you're kind of, yeah, making. And I think it's just the best way to improve your art and get books finished and completed. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video and just for like having a little chit chat with me. It was so fun. We got a little bit deep sometimes, which was totally fine. Again, if you want like more chit chatty videos, definitely comment down below. I do have a lot of podcast episodes which I post like 2 times a week. I kind of forgot 1 episode last week, but I'm sorry, I will just continue on my normal schedule. I post every Wednesdays and Fridays on here also, so if you want to like hear me talking, I usually just talk at my computer and have my microphone and just talk with you guys about my podcast topic. But yeah, I have a lot of chitty chatty videos to come, obviously. And yeah, I'm just so glad that you guys were able to comment and yeah, ask me all these amazing questions, and I just wish you guys the best. You're doing so well. Just continue writing, continue pushing through, and I know you guys will become amazing authors someday. Okay, I'm so excited for you guys. But yeah, I hope to see you in my next video, and yeah, happy writing. Bye.